Welcome to part 3, Unity 6 LTS course. In this chapter, I will focus on the components, game objects, and moving, rotating, and scaling them, and also adding other game objects to this scene. You can access to all chapters and the other parts from the playlist here, and also the link is in the description. Here, as you can see, we have 3 game objects in this scene. You can add more game objects. You can import your 3D models to the project and add them to the scene. Also, Unity provides some basic and primitive 3D models that you can go to the game object, and here in the 3D object we have cube, sphere, capsule, cylinder, plane, quad, and mirror, and these are the 3D objects, primitive objects in the Unity. Let's add a plane, and here after that let's add a cube to the scene. Alright, cube is here and we need to move it. I'll explain the move tool. Alright. The question is how to move an object or rotate it or scale up or scale down the object. You can select the object you want to move here or here and press the W key on your keyboard, or select this icon, and here we can move the object. This is the Z-axis, as you can see here. The blue cursor is the Z-axis, this is the X-axis, and this is Y-axis. In some other software like Blender, the Z-axis is up and the Y-axis is front, and it's different from this view. I just wanted to say all 3D software doesn't provide the axes and directions like Unity, but X-axis is similar to the other 3D software. Next, you can press the E key or select this to rotate the object. Here we can rotate along the Z-axis, X-axis, and Y-axis. And using the R key on your keyboard or selecting this, you can scale down or scale up the object in any direction you want. For example, Z, Y, or X. Or you can drag the center of them and scale it up or down in 3 axes. I will upload every chapter of the course every week, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification to know about the new chapters and new tutorials. The direction is similar. You can drag the center of it or moving, but in the movement mode you can move in 2 directions, not 3 here, which Z-axis is not included. Here the X-axis is not included, and here the Y-axis is not included in this movement. Also, while the object is selected, you can see a component called transform. Let's collapse the other components. I'll explain them later, but we have a transform component here, which all the game objects in the scene have this component. Here in the possession you have the X, Y, and Z, and you can move the object in the X-axis by dragging this field or this field or this. And for the rotation and the scale we have this capability as well. We can type a value, a custom value. We have many options to rotate, move, and scale our objects. Also, I need to say each square in this grid is a 1 unit. And here if I insert 0, you can see the cube is here. And if I insert 1, as you can see, just 1 unit per each square it will move. And this is the principle of 3D views. Here in the scale field, we have this icon. If I scale it up along the x-axis, you can see the shape, the entire shape is changing. But if I enable this, if I scale it up along the x-axis, you can see it will change in all directions. And we have the same structure in the Y and Z and also in the 3D object. These axes are disabled, and if I hold and drag one of them, the other will be changed. Also, if you don't want the grid, you can disable it. Grid is here and you can disable it or change it. Here you can change the grid direction. Here's the Y. You can change it to X, you can change it to Z, and also you can change the opacity. But I don't want it in this scene, and I can disable it. Here, let's place it at the center of the plane and scale the plane. Plane 3D model is the simplest 3D model in all 3D software, and it's very useful to make walls and floors. And the most important part is the plane has one side. If I go down, and you can see we don't see the plane, and actually it has one side, and it is very useful for optimization. Two sides make the object heavier to compute. Cube also is not too complex. Actually, I'll focus on the 3D objects and structures of them in detail later, and what factors make a 3D model heavy to compute. Let's add the other 3D models, primitive 3D models, the sphere here, the sphere, and this sphere is heavier than the others to compute. You can scale it up in the x-axis, z and y. The next is the capsule, and this is heavy as well. Heavy mean heavier than cube or plane. Cylinder, and the other game objects are not so important. For example, mirror is just like the plane but with reflection capability. We have many other methods to add reflection to the Unity, and I don't use this game object. Alright, these are the basic and primitive 3D models and the basics of it. Now let's delete them and focus on the components.